Right then, big game tomorrow for Manchester United. We've got the Everton coming to Old Trafford. It is the lunchtime kickoff. Traditionally a game where all bets get completely obliterated. Which way is it going to go this weekend? And can Rafa Benitez come and spoil the party this week? Yes, he can, is the answer to that. Everton currently 5th in the table. They've had a strong start to the season with 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. They are dealing with a little bit of an injury crisis at the moment, though. They've lost Richarlison, they've lost Calvert-Lewin, so this isn't a bad time for us to play them. We did play them in pre-season. We beat them 4-0. It was very comfortable. It was our last pre-season game. And they've only lost we've only lost one of our last 14 games against Everton. But I think the poor result in this one would be the draw. At home, United need to start picking up those wins week in, week out at home. And if we're not doing that, then something's going wrong. This is a game that United need to get the 3 points in. They really do. Right then, predicted lineup time. Let's get into this one. Under Ancelotti last season, Everton, for the most part, went for a 4-3-3. It's my favourite formation. It's the formation I'd love to see United play more often. I think they had quite a lot of success with that, but proved a little bit inept as the season went along. I don't know if that was a squad depth thing. I don't know if that was a tiredness thing, but as the season sort of unravelled, their performances kind of unravelled. After such a strong start, they finished really poorly towards the end of it. And this season, particularly in recent weeks, they are playing in a 4-4-1-1 formation. The 4-4-1-1, very similar to 4-4-2. The main difference being that the base position of the number 10 is definitely off the main striker and often even into the midfield, making it a 4-5-1, and it's quite a defensive element. It depends who you play there in what sort of output that you get in these sorts of situations. Demarai Gray playing in the 10 role this season's given them a bit of a bridge from midfield to attack. He's been quite good at it. He's also got pace, he's got dynamism, he's got dribbling ability, and having that allows Doucouré to bomb forward a lot as a third man getting into the box from that midfield pivot with Allen, and he's to be pretty much, that's where one of those two midfielders is going to sit. The 4-5-1 has given a great balance. The 4-4-1-1 has given them great balance when they've been going forward. The wingers, Townsend on the right, Iwobi on the left, they play in to out rather than out to in. They don't really hold their width at all, which makes them dangerous in and around the box centrally. It's a narrow sort of forward three, kinda, as you'll get out of them. And when you have Digne blasting off into that left sort of channel as well, getting very much forward and being a big outlet for them as Iwobi narrows in, that can be a big weakness defensively for them. Predicted lineup, I think it's going to be Pickford in net, Godfrey, Mina, Keane and Dean as a back four, Townsend, Doucouré, Allen, Iwobi, Demarai Gray behind Rondon. As I said, Coleman, Gomez, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, those are the injuries that they're dealing with, which has taken away a little bit of their star quality and a little bit of their star power, but they are still going to be very, very solid. And that's what United have struggled at. I actually wouldn't mind a team that's got loads of attacking talent to come and play us, because I think that really suits United's play, allows us to play on the counter a little bit, and that's where United are their most dangerous. Starman for Everton in this game is going to be Doucouré. He's a monster of a player and he's having a monster of a season. He's an absolute beast of a man. And he's added a bit of another element of his game under Benitez. He is as box-to-box as midfielders come. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists in 6 league games this season, which is elite, especially for someone that's technically classed as someone so deep. And him and Allen are a solid, competent, difficult midfield, and he's been given license to bomb forward and arrive late into the area because of Allen's defensive discipline. He's a serious threat in the area, and he's a serious threat in those areas of the pitches in and around the D when the entire backline has been moved backwards. And if you watch United often enough, you'll see that our entire backline collapses right into the goal line, and that's the issue. That little spot, we've gone with the wingers, we've gone with the forwards, and we've just left this little spot here in front of the back four where someone can steam into. We saw against West Ham, Donny van de Beek vacated that area, and that's where they scored from. Watch for this tomorrow against Everton, because I think that's what could undo United. The third man run of Doucouré is something that we have to look for. Everton are dangerous, but they are not a ball-playing side by any stretch of the imagination. 42.5% possession this season, and they have the third worst in that. And without Calvert-Lewin, they don't really have penetration in their attacks. They prefer to, they don't really go wide either with him. Again, we saw a narrowing in of Iwobi and Townsend, but when you've got Calvert-Lewin in there, you can play off and move, and that's not really happened with Rondon, and they've really narrowed in without having Calvert-Lewin. And they're sort of reliant on Doucouré kind of bombing through the middle, really, to create their attacks. They're not crossing the ball as much as you would. Dean, obviously, someone very renowned with his crossing. They're not crossing the ball as much as you would if you did have Calvert-Lewin in there. Only Leicester, Tottenham have crossed the ball less than Everton this season, which has historically been a staple of how they usually play. So it's a real change of focus. Not looking at the crosses this time, we're looking at the ball being played through the middle and those third-man runs from Doucouré coming from deep. They have been a constant threat throughout the season, though. Even without the marquee names, they've scored 12 goals whilst generating an XG of only 10.2. Only Liverpool and City have more XG than them, which means they are creating chances and they're taking high-quality shots from good areas, which means United have to be wary of these because they can definitely create and score some goals. They have had 3 penalties in the league, which might boost that up just a little bit. No other team has had more than 1. So they're getting into the area. They're getting into the area in numbers, and they are going to be a bit of a handful for us. So how do United beat them? The starting 11 that I want to see from United then, sort of what I want to see. De Gea in net, I thought he was sensational. I didn't mention it in 5 things, and I was wrong not to because I should have. He was absolutely superb. Wan-Bissaka back at right back. I think it'll be Telles at left back. Varane. But that 4th centre-half spot, I think I'd play Eric Bailly. I think Ollie's going to play Victor Lindelof. And on one hand, ball-playing ability goes to Victor Lindelof. Raw defensive ability goes to Bailly. I would go with the raw defensive ability of a centre-half, especially when you've got the likes of Varane. That could be the one that's looking to play out. I go with the raw defensive ability of defending, especially with Telles next to him, because Telles, defensively, I won't call him a liability, but it's certainly the weaker side of his game. Midfield, a lot of you aren't going to be happy with this, but it's McFred. It's McTominay and Fred. I want United to play 4-3-3. McTominay is not ready to be that. I think he could be the guy, but he's got to change up his whole game. He's got to be different to what he naturally seems to gravitate towards being. He isn't good enough to play the single pivot on his own, and we saw that. Matic came on Wednesday night, and we saw the difference that Matic made. Now, ideally, my midfield 3 is Matic, Bruno and Pogba, and I loved how deep Bruno was, and I thought he was getting really involved, being that touch deeper, playing as a number 8 rather than as a straight number 10. But Matic can't play twice in a week. He's too old. He is the best defensive midfielder in United, though. He's just not going to play. Nor would I expect Pogba and Matic pivot. That could happen, and to be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if that did happen, but they will get absolutely chewed up by Doucouré and Allen. And if you don't think they do, you don't watch enough football. It's as simple as that. No, you can have all the marquee names that you want, but when it comes to running and physicality, they matter. And Pogba and Matic, they might be tall, they might be strong, but they don't have the legs and the energy to have that tempo about them that someone like Doucouré has. And they will get absolutely overrun as a pair in midfield. McTominay and Fred are not anywhere near as good a footballer. They are not anywhere near as good in possession, but they can match the Everton side for running. And I think Ollie prefers to match the running rather than see us outrun. You can agree, you can disagree on whether you think that's the right thing or not to do, but that is why he's choosing them. I would like it to be Pogba and Matic for ball playing ability. I would like it to be Matic as a solo 6, really, but I just don't think it's going to be. I think it'll be McFred. Sancho off the right. Bruno central. Cristiano Ronaldo on the left. for his playmaking ability and give him the license to bomb forward and get into the box, especially vacating that area for Tellez. I think this would be a very balanced system that would work. And Edinson Cavani up front, the guy has to start. It's as simple as that. He is the most dynamic forward in Manchester United's arsenal. He is an absolute pressing machine. He is a quality machine. He's a goal scorer, and he's a goddamn handsome bastard to boot as well. That's how you fucking get about these. You need pace, and you need to be mobile. And Everton, they are athletic. They get about the pitch, and I think United have to match them. That's why it's McTominay and Fred, predominantly in midfield. When they go forward in numbers, and they leave space behind to exploit when they're getting stretched. Ronaldo's desire to sort of hit in that left sort of half of the field and dictate means that you need to have people that are going to get ahead of him. Bruno will get ahead of him. Cavani get ahead of him. You could have Tellez coming along the left of him, and you're going to have Sancho on the switch. That's players getting in ahead of him as he sort of comes back into that playmaking position. And that's why you don't necessarily miss Paul Pogba's playmaking ability, because Ronaldo and Paul Pogba are sort of occupying the same sort of position on the pitch at the moment. Teams that have been getting in behind their centre-halves and fullbacks in transition have been hurting them, and that's where United need to go and exploit them. And that's why you got to have Jadon Sancho in your team and you Cavani on that last man. Pullbacks and intricate play is how you're going to create your own space for this, because Allen and Doucouré, they're great going forward, and Allen's got real good defensive discipline. But when it's just a numbers game and you're cutting it back and you're running around him with cute little 1-2s, you're going to have success with him. Hopeful crosses. Even with Cavani playing, you're up against it. Keane and Mina are brilliant in the air. They lead the league in defensive clearances. Let's not fucking make it easy for them. Let's make it difficult for them. Give them opportunities to make mistakes, including giving away fouls, and let's go for it. Godfrey at right back. I think he's a hell of a player. I mean, he will be a centre-half full-time, long-term. He gives them a little bit of aerial presence, which is going to help them when it defends crosses, especially with Ronaldo's tendency to sort of ghost and pull away. He's going to have less joy on Godfrey's side, I think, but he should fancy himself if he moves over to the other side against Luka Dean. The midfield battle is going to be where the game's won and lost. Allen and Doucouré are absolutely formidable, and I think you've got to go and try and outwork them with Fred and McTominay. That's what you got to do. You got to ask, who's going to track Doucouré once he makes those third man runs? Is it going to be Fred? Is it going to be McTominay? Are we good enough to play through the centre of them and work through them? Would we be better served maybe condensing midfield, forcing Everton into the wide areas where you can maybe pickpocket them a little bit like that? And are they good enough to play around us? These are the questions that we will find out the answers to. I think it's a hell of a game. Again, difficult game. And I'm seeing people complaining, oh, United struggled against Wolves and we struggled against Villa and we struggled against Villarreal. Yeah, they're struggling because they're fucking good teams, top and bottom. They are bloody good football teams. Didn't struggle against Leeds. And we didn't struggle against Newcastle because they're teams that play open football and can be got at. We've just hit a run of teams that you can't really fucking do that. And if you're going, oh, well, why? Well, you need to watch more football because this is the truth. Anyway, cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. And before you go anywhere, if you're watching this before 7 o'clock, you get yourself down to Nichols tonight. You can try out for Stretford Paddock from the first team all the way through to the devs. And if you're watching this any time after that, or you've got a young gun, age 3 to 15, literally any age group in the centre of Manchester you want to come and play for Paddock, we are starting some junior sides. It's free. I'll throw a link in the description, or you can check out this poster here with all the details on, or check my socials, or Paddock FC socials. It's free. We're going to be running some coaching for a few weeks, so it doesn't matter your ability, no matter what your age is, just pick the right sort of time slot for you. Come and get down. Come and play for Paddock if you want to. But cheers for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.